welcome back. We're diving into a book today that's, well, it's been causing quite a stir in certain corners of the internet. The book is called The Red Pill, a men's rights manifesto.
Okay.
And, we've heard from a lot of you that you're interested in men's rights, especially, how they relate to marriage,
Right.
family, that kind of thing, societal structures. So we're going to take a deep dive into this book and, really try to unpack it,
Okay.
see what he has to say, see if it holds water.
Sounds good.
All right, so right off the bat, the author, he comes out swinging. He suggests that feminism, while it initially advocated for equality, it's kind of gone off the rails a bit. Been influenced by Marxist ideology, he says,
Okay.
which has led to, well, what he calls an attack on traditional family structures
Really?
and masculinity itself.
So a pretty strong claim right out of the gate.
Yeah, pretty bold.
Uh-huh.
He actually uses the term war on masculinity to describe this shift.
War on masculinity. Wow.
He suggests that things like the hashtag #MeToo movement and the rising divorce rate, that these are evidence of this war.
Okay.
Now, to back this up, he delves into the history of feminism. Starts way back with the suffragettes, goes through each wave, first wave, second wave, third wave. And he argues that with each successive wave, there was a further erosion of those traditional family structures.
Okay.
Ultimately leading to a system that, well, he claims, is stacked against men.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, what's the most, I think, compelling parts of the book is how he analyzes the work of prominent feminists.
Okay, like who?
Well, he looks at Betty Friedan, for example.
Right. The feminine mystique.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He criticizes that book, The Feminine Mystique, for encouraging women to move away from their traditional roles.
So like as wives and mothers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he argues that this has had a significant impact on the family unit.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's not just Friedan either. He also takes aim at Simone de Beauvoir, argues that her work, which he says was influenced by Marxism, laid the groundwork for a kind of feminism that sees men as the enemy. And he even goes so far as to suggest that this perspective, this anti-male perspective, has infiltrated academia.
Really?
Yeah. He points to, specific university courses.
Like what?
There's one called The Problem of Men.
Oh, wow. The problem of men?
As evidence that, these institutions are actively promoting a narrative that demonizes men.
Huh. All right, so he's tackling feminism, he's tackling academia. What else?
Well, he also spends a lot of time on, the media,
Okay.
how men are portrayed in movies, TV shows, commercials, all of that.
Right.
All those classic tropes.
Like what? Give me an example.
Oh, the bumbling dad,
Okay, yeah.
the incompetent husband, the guy who's always messing things up.
Right. Always needs his wife to bail him out.
Exactly. And he argues that these seemingly harmless portrayals, they actually contribute to a larger negative stereotype of men.
Okay, I see. So it's not just the one-off, it's kind of like a pattern.
Exactly. It's like drip, 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 over time. And it creates this negative image of men.
Yeah.
And he doesn't just rely on anecdotal evidence either. He actually cites studies.
Oh, okay.
Like there was one from the University of Michigan, I think,
Yeah.
that found men are often portrayed negatively in commercials.
Interesting.
Yeah. And another study found that positive portrayals of men, like nurturing fathers, those are much less common.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. So it's not just, his opinion. He's actually trying to back it up with some research.
Okay, that makes sense. So, I mean, it makes you wonder what kind of impact these portrayals have, right? Like, on men and boys.
Exactly. And that's what he's getting at. He suggests that it could contribute to low self-esteem and a distorted view of what it means to be a man.
Especially in today's society, things are changing so fast.
Right. And he doesn't just focus on, the social and cultural aspect. He also dives into the legal arena.
Like the courts.
Exactly.
Right.
Particularly in, family law, divorce, child custody, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh. Makes sense.
He claims that men face discrimination in the workplace and especially in family courts.
Okay.
He actually uses a case study. A guy named James from California.
Yep.
He was a manager. And he was repeatedly passed over for promotions.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In favor of less experienced women.
Wow.
And the book presents this as a pattern of men being penalized to meet diversity quotas. And things get even more, I guess, intense when he tackles family courts.
Right.
He argues that the system is just heavily biased against men,
Uh-huh.
especially when it comes to divorce and child custody.
Okay.
Like he cites one statistic, says that, in divorce cases, mothers are granted primary custody of the children over 80% of the time.
Wow, 80%.
Yeah. And he claims that this is evidence of a system that just automatically favors women. Regardless of, the father's fitness as a parent
Right.
or the specific circumstances.
Okay.
He also delves into the very sensitive issue of false accusations, shares stories of men whose lives were, just totally upended
Yeah.
by accusations that later turned out to be untrue,
Right.
which led to, devastating consequences.
Mm-hmm.
He highlights this story of a guy named John.
John, okay.
He was accused of rape by his ex-girlfriend,
Oh, wow.
and he lost his job, his family, his reputation
Jeez.
before eventually being exonerated.
Oh, so it was false.
Yeah. So it was proven that he didn't do it.
Okay.
But by then, the damage was done.
Right.
And he uses this as an example of how, false accusations can just have a devastating impact.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if you're proven innocent, I mean, the accusation itself can just...
It could ruin your life.
Yeah.
And he suggests that the #MeToo movement, while important in some ways, has created an environment where men are more vulnerable to these false accusations
Okay.
and are often presumed guilty before proven innocent,
I see.
which raises concerns about due process, fairness for men in these situations.
Right. It's a tough issue for sure. Lots of different perspectives to consider.
Absolutely. And, the book doesn't just focus on the social and legal aspects.
Okay.
It also explores biological and psychological differences between men and women,
Uh-huh.
which he claims are often ignored or downplayed.
Interesting.
For example, he points to the fact that, men on average have greater upper body strengths
Right.
and are more likely to take risks.
Okay.
And he connects these differences to our evolutionary history, where men were often the hunters and protectors.
I see. Makes sense. So, like, biologically ingrained.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then he criticizes what he calls the feminist narrative that tries to explain away these differences as purely social constructs.
Okay.
He argues that denying these biological realities actually hurts both men and women, prevents them from fully understanding and appreciating their unique strengths.
Interesting.
Like trying to force everyone into the same mold.
Right.
It doesn't really work.
Makes sense.
And he actually uses an ancient Greek myth to illustrate this point.
Oh, which one?
The story of Pandora's box.
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
Yeah. He suggests that the myth represents a deep-seated fear
Okay.
of female curiosity and power that has been suppressed in modern society.
That's fascinating.
It is. And what's really interesting is how he connects this ancient myth, right, this story from thousands of years ago, to his argument that, evolutionary differences are often ignored.
Right. To fit this agenda.
Exactly, yeah. It's a unique way to frame the discussion, for sure.
It is.
And speaking of challenging perspectives, he also delves into the influence of queer theory on modern feminism.
Wow.
Now, this is where the book's perspective gets a little more controversial. He claims that queer theory, with its focus on, the fluidity of gender, has actually made it harder to address the specific challenges that men face.
Interesting. So he's saying that it's kind of muddying the waters.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And he sees queer theory as another way to silence men
Okay.
and create a hostile environment for them.
Got it. So, I mean, it's clear that this book is coming from a very specific point of view.
Yeah. It's definitely advocating for a certain understanding of men's rights.
Right. And the threats it perceives.
Exactly. And this advocacy, it really comes to the forefront when he focuses on the workplace.
Uh-huh.
He argues that men face discrimination in many areas.
Like what?
Hiring, promotions, even safety.
Oh.
He uses the example of affirmative action policies.
Yeah.
Claims that, while they're well-intentioned, they often result in men being passed over for jobs
Really?
and promotions,
Okay.
even when they're more qualified, simply to fulfill quotas. And he also argues that men are more likely to be given dangerous or physically demanding jobs.
Okay.
Points to statistics showing that men make up over 90% of workplace fatalities.
Wow. 90%.
Yeah.
That's a huge number.
It is. And he uses these examples to build a case that, men are unfairly disadvantaged in the workplace.
Right.
And that their contributions are often overlooked or devalued.
Interesting.
Now, one of his most controversial claims is that the, the gender pay gap.
Right, right.
He says it's largely a myth.
A myth.
Yeah. He argues that when you consider factors like career choices, hours worked, time taken for family responsibilities, all that, the gap shrinks significantly. And he suggests that the focus on the pay gap actually distracts from the real issues that men face in the workplace.
Okay. Like what? What are some of the real issues he's talking about?
Well, he mentions things like, the higher likelihood of being laid off during economic downturns, the difficulties in securing paternity leave.
Okay, right. Things like that.
Yeah. And he even cites research from the National Bureau of Economic Research,
Okay.
which found that hiring practices that consider gender can lead to less qualified individuals being hired. Now, the book doesn't just, highlight these issues, it also proposes solutions.
Okay, good.
Like, he calls for an overhaul of family law
Uh-huh.
to make it fairer for men, especially regarding divorce and child custody.
Right.
And he encourages men to be more vocal about the challenges they face
Okay.
and to challenge feminist narratives they see as harmful.
Interesting. So like speak up, push back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one striking solution is the idea of men creating their own platforms and communities
Oh.
to freely express themselves and support each other. He sees this as a way to, counter what he perceives as dominant anti-male narrative.
Right. In the mainstream media.
Exactly, yeah. In the media and in institutions.
Okay.
It's essentially a call to action for men to take the red pill.
Take the red pill.
Yeah. And fight back against what the book sees as a systemic attack on masculinity.
Wow. That's a powerful message.
It is. And it's one that is resonated with a lot of men.
I can see why. It's definitely provocative.
It is. It's thought-provoking, for sure.
Yeah.
And before we move on, I think it's worth just taking a moment to reflect on what we've covered so far.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot to process.
It is. So we've explored the book's claims about the evolution of feminism, the portrayal of men in the media,
Right.
and the legal challenges men face, particularly in marriage and family.
Okay.
We've also touched on his exploration of, those biological differences between men and women, and his somewhat controversial stance on queer theory.
Right.
But there's a lot more to uncover.
Definitely. Looking forward to digging deeper.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So when we come back, we'll dive into the book's take on the mental health crisis facing men,
Okay.
and its alarmingly high suicide rates.
Yeah, that's a really important topic.
It is. We'll also explore the book's vision for the future,
Okay.
where men's rights are finally respected and their contributions are valued.
Looking forward to it. All right, so let's shift gears a bit here
Okay.
and talk about something that the book really dives into,
Okay.
and that's the mental health crisis among men.
Okay. Yeah.
And the book argues that this crisis, it's a direct result of the societal pressures
Right.
that men face,
Yeah.
which, it ties back to that whole war on masculinity idea.
Right. Right. It all kind of connects back to that.
Yeah, exactly. And the book, it doesn't shy away from, the harsh reality of this crisis. Like it cites some really alarming statistics.
Like what?
Well, for example, it points out that men are, significantly more likely to die by suicide
Right.
than women.
That's a
Yeah.
scary statistic.
It is. And the book argues that men are often less likely to seek help
Yeah.
for these mental health issues
Right.
because of, societal expectation.
Like they should just be strong and silent.
Exactly. That they should just, man up,
Right.
suck it up.
Right. Right. Don't show any weakness.
Yeah. And it suggests that these expectations can prevent men from, from expressing their emotions and from seeking support when they need it most.
Yeah. I can see that.
It's like they're trapped in this box
Right.
where they're told to be strong.
Uh-huh.
But then, they're also criticized for being emotionally distant.
Right. Right. It's like a no-win situation.
Exactly. And the book argues that this double bind, it takes a toll on men's mental health. Yeah. Leads to, increased rates of depression, substance abuse. Right. And as we mentioned, suicide.
Right. And I mean, it's a complex issue.
Oh,
With
absolutely.
many factors, but the book suggests that these societal pressures,
Yeah.
they play a significant role.
They do. And what's even more concerning, I think, is the book's claim that men's health issues in general,
Okay.
both physical and mental,
Uh-huh.
are often overlooked or downplayed by the healthcare system.
Really?
Yeah, it's like their needs aren't being adequately addressed. Like the book points to the fact that significantly less research funding is allocated to men's health issues compared to women's health issues.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it even cites examples of diseases that disproportionately affect men.
Okay, like what?
Well, like prostate cancer.
Right.
Receiving less attention and funding.
Huh. So, I mean, it makes you wonder, is there disparity in how we approach men's health concerns?
Yeah, exactly. And the book definitely argues that there is.
Okay.
And it attributes this disparity to, the influence of what it calls the feminist agenda, which it sees as primarily focused on women's issues at the expense of men's.
Interesting.
It's a provocative argument.
It is.
But it does make you think. It challenges how we think about healthcare and resource allocation.
It does. And, moving on to the workplace again, the book also criticizes how feminism has impacted this area, particularly when it comes to, affirmative action policies.
Right.
It argues that these policies, while intended to promote diversity, can actually lead to discrimination against men.
Okay.
It claims that men are sometimes passed over for promotions or opportunities, even when they're more qualified.
Really?
In favor of women who are seen as, helping to meet those diversity quotas.
Interesting.
The book actually shares a story
Okay.
about a guy named Harvey.
Harvey, all right. Yeah.
He was a manager at a tech firm.
Okay.
And he was let go, along with other male managers,
Oh, wow.
to make way for less experienced women.
Really?
Yeah, in an attempt to achieve, a specific gender ratio. And the book presents this as a deliberate effort to, push men out of leadership positions
Okay.
and replace them with women, regardless of merit or experience.
Interesting. So it's challenging the effectiveness of these policies.
Exactly. And their fairness.
Right.
And their impact on men in the workplace.
Okay.
And the author even uses the term feminization of work.
Feminization of work.
Yeah. Suggesting that, traditional masculine values and skills are being devalued.
Okay. In the modern workplace.
Exactly.
Interesting. So there's a shift happening, he's saying.
Right. A shift away from those traditional values.
Okay.
And he also criticizes the double standards that men face when it comes to parenting and work-life balance. He argues that there's just, a different set of expectations
Okay.
for men compared to women
Right.
in these areas.
Okay.
For instance, he points out that stay-at-home dads,
Right.
they often face stigma and judgment, while stay-at-home moms are often praised and celebrated.
Yeah. It's interesting how those perceptions differ.
It is. And he suggests that men are less likely to be granted paternity leave or flexibility in their work schedules to, accommodate family responsibilities.
Right.
So he sees this as another example of how society kind of devalues men's contribution
Okay.
to family life
Right.
and reinforces the stereotype that women are the primary caregivers,
Right.
while men are primarily providers.
Okay.
And he also raises concerns about the education system,
Really?
arguing that it's failing boys. He suggests that feminist ideology has infiltrated, schools and universities, creating a learning environment that is disadvantageous to boys.
Okay, so how so?
Well, he points to the fact that boys are falling behind girls in academic achievement
Okay.
at various levels. And he suggests that this is because the education system is now geared towards what he calls feminine learning styles,
Okay.
which emphasize, verbal skills and cooperation,
Right.
rather than masculine learning styles, which may be more, hands-on or competitive.
Interesting. Okay.
So he argues that boys are often penalized for their natural tendencies to be more active,
Okay.
competitive,
Right.
or assertive,
Uh-huh.
which can lead to, lower grades,
Okay.
higher dropout rates,
Right.
and a sense of alienation.
So it's like they're being punished for just being boys.
Exactly. He shares this story of a young man named Tom,
Tom, okay.
who excelled in elementary school,
Okay.
but then he struggled in high school
Really?
because he felt his interests in, math and science weren't valued
Okay.
by his primarily female teachers.
Interesting.
And he suggests that this bias, against masculine traits It's present not just in the attitudes of teachers,
Okay.
but also reflected in the curriculum and the overall school environment.
Okay, so it's kind of like a systemic issue, he's saying.
Exactly, yeah. And he argues that boys are being subtly discouraged from pursuing careers in STEM fields,
Right.
and that they're being bombarded with messages that their masculinity is something to be ashamed of,
Wow.
or that they need to suppress it to succeed.
Okay.
So it's a
Yeah.
it's a pretty serious critique
It is.
of the education system.
Right.
And it raises questions about whether boys are being adequately served.
Right. By the current model.
Yeah.
Okay. And we can't forget about the book's take on, the influence of queer theory
Right.
on modern feminism.
Yeah.
This is a section that has generated, a lot of controversy and discussion.
It has.
The book argues that, while queer theory initially intended to challenge those traditional gender roles, it's been co-opted by some feminists in a way that erases men's experiences and further marginalizes them.
Okay.
So it critiques the concept of, gender as a social construct,
Right.
arguing that it ignores those biological realities that underpin, male and female differences.
Right.
And the book even suggests that the push for transgender rights is part of a broader agenda to, blur the lines between genders and ultimately dismantle the nuclear family,
Okay.
which it views as the foundation of a, stable and healthy society.
Right.
So it's a very provocative argument
It is.
and one that challenges a lot of the prevailing narratives
Right.
surrounding gender identity and the role of the family.
Right. And the book doesn't stop there.
No.
It also takes aim at what it calls toxic feminism.
Toxic feminism.
Yeah. Arguing that, a segment of the feminist movement has become radicalized
Okay.
and is actively working against men's interests. And it points to phenomena like false accusations of sexual assault,
Okay.
affirmative action policies,
Right.
and what it sees as biased family courts as evidence of this, toxic feminism at work.
So it's basically saying that these are like tools that are being used against men.
Exactly, yeah. And it suggests that these tactics, they create a hostile environment for men
Okay.
and undermine genuine gender equality by, pitting men and women against each other.
Right.
And the book even states that mainstream feminism has shifted away from being a movement for equality
Okay.
and has become, in its view, a movement for female supremacy.
Wow. So that's a pretty strong statement.
It is, but it reflects, the book's overall perspective on the current state of gender relations.
Right.
And one of the, I think, most intriguing parts of the book is its exploration of the red pill movement itself.
Okay, yeah, the red pill. Let's talk about that.
So it provides context and background for this, growing online community of men. So for those who might not be familiar, the red pill movement is essentially an online community
Okay.
of men who believe they have, taken the red pill.
Taking the red pill, right.
Meaning they've become aware of what they see as the truth about, gender dynamics
Right.
and the ways in which they believe men are disadvantaged.
Okay.
So the book portrays the red pill movement as a response to these perceived injustices
Okay.
that men face.
Right.
And it sees it as a platform for men to connect,
Okay.
share their experiences, and find solutions together.
Okay.
The book even includes personal stories from men who say they have been, positively impacted by the red pill movement.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They share how it helped them understand their own experiences,
Okay.
connect with others who share similar views, and find a sense of community and support.
Interesting.
So it's clear that the author sees the red pill movement as a, vital force for change.
Yeah.
A way for men to challenge those dominant narratives.
Right.
Advocate for their rights.
Uh-huh.
And create a more balanced and equitable society.
Okay. So he sees it as a positive force.
Yeah, he definitely does.
Yeah.
And he argues that the red pill movement isn't just about men's rights.
Okay.
It's also about, the well-being of society as a whole.
So like a rising tide lifts all boats.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. He suggests that by achieving a balance between the genders, we can create a more just and harmonious world for everyone.
Okay, I see. Now, it's important to remember that, the book is presenting a particular perspective.
Of course, yeah.
And it's been met with criticism
Right.
from various groups, including, feminists and academics.
Right.
They argue that it misrepresents the history and goals of feminism,
Okay.
that it promotes harmful stereotypes about, both men and women.
Right.
and ultimately undermines the progress made towards gender equality.
So it's a controversial book, to say the least.
It is, and I think it's essential for anyone engaging with these ideas to, to critically evaluate the information presented.
Absolutely.
And to consider alternative viewpoints.
Right.
This is a complex topic.
Yeah.
With a lot of nuance.
It is.
And it's important to engage with it thoughtfully.
Absolutely. So I think let's take a moment to summarize the key takeaways.
Okay, yeah. Good.
From this section. So the book highlights the mental health crisis among men. And suggests that societal pressures, particularly those related to traditional masculinity, contribute to this crisis.
Right.
It also critiques what it sees as a bias against men.
Okay.
In healthcare, the workplace,
Right.
and the education system.
Okay.
And it argues that feminism has negatively impacted these areas,
Right.
leading to discrimination against men and the devaluation of masculine traits.
Okay.
And then, of course, it explores the red pill movement,
Yeah.
presenting it as a response to these perceived injustices and a platform for men to connect and advocate for their rights.
Right.
So this section was pretty dense,
It was.
but we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
And when we come back,
Yeah.
we'll unpack the book's vision for the future
Okay.
and explore its ideas for how to create a society where men's rights are respected and their contributions valued.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
All right, so we've talked about the problems, the issues that this book raises.
Yeah.
But now let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about solutions, because the book actually offers a vision for the future.
Okay. More positive outlook.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Where men's rights are respected, their contributions are valued. It's not all doom and gloom.
Gotcha. So what's the roadmap? What does he suggest?
Well, he argues that we need to kind of move beyond this victim versus oppressor narrative.
Right.
That dominates a lot of the discussions about gender these days.
Yeah. It can get pretty heated.
It can.
Uh-huh.
And he calls for a more, nuanced and balanced approach.
Okay.
That recognizes the challenges and contributions of both men and women.
Right. So it's not about one side winning over the other.
Exactly. It's about acknowledging that men and women are different, but equal in value.
Okay.
It's about appreciating the unique strengths each gender brings to the table.
Right.
Instead of trying to force everyone into the same mold.
I see. So embrace the differences.
Yeah. And he suggests that this push for sameness is actually harmful.
Okay. Why is that?
Well, because it ignores the inherent, biological and psychological differences
Right.
between men and women.
Okay.
So he advocates for recognizing that men have a unique set of challenges and needs, just as women do.
Okay. Makes sense. So what kind of future does he envision?
He envisions a society where men feel valued and respected for who they are,
Okay.
where their masculinity isn't seen as, toxic or something to be suppressed.
Right.
He calls for a world where men's rights are acknowledged and protected.
Okay. So what does that look like in, practical terms?
Well, he offers some specific ideas, like he calls for reforms in family law,
Okay.
particularly to ensure that fathers have equal rights in custody battles.
Okay. So making things more equitable.
Exactly. And he also advocates for changes in the education system
Okay.
to better support boys
Right.
and create a more balanced learning environment. This includes, recognizing different learning styles
Okay.
and encouraging boys' interests in areas where they may excel, like STEM fields.
Right. So tailoring the education system to their needs.
Exactly, yeah. And he also calls for a shift in how men are portrayed in the media.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, those negative stereotypes.
Right. He suggests moving away from those and promoting more positive and nuanced representations of masculinity.
Okay. So changing the narrative.
Exactly. And perhaps most importantly, he encourages men to be more vocal about the challenges they face and to support one another.
Okay.
He emphasizes the importance of building strong communities where men can connect, share their experiences, and find solidarity.
Okay. So it's about, coming together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, taking action.
Right.
It's a call to action for men to take the red pill and become active participants in shaping a better future for themselves and for future generations. It encourages men to embrace their masculinity, advocate for their needs, and work towards a more balanced and equitable society.
Okay. So it's a message of empowerment.
Yeah, definitely.
It's about taking control of your own destiny.
Exactly. Now, we know this book presents a particular perspective.
Right.
And, not everyone will agree with its arguments or conclusions.
Of course, yeah.
But regardless of whether you agree with it or not, it has sparked an important conversation.
It has.
About the role of men in society, about the challenges they face, and the potential solutions that are needed.
Right. It's definitely food for thought.
It is. And I think, ultimately, the most important thing is to keep these conversations going.
Absolutely.
To listen to each other's perspectives.
Right.
And to work together to create a world that is fair and just for everyone.
Well said.
So that wraps up our deep dive into The Red Pill, a men's rights manifesto. We hope this episode has given you a better understanding of the book's key arguments, the controversies it has sparked, and the questions it raises about gender dynamics in our society. You're interested in exploring these ideas further and delving deeper into the source material, you can find the book on Amazon Kindle and Google Play Books. Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep the conversation going.